Head coach Dylan Potts with the defending state champion West Boca Bulls joining me, Theo Dorsey, here on ESPN 106.3. And just start with this. How much different has this off season been for you with you guys having now that target on your back, but then also a lot of people that want the attention of the West Boca Bulls?
Well, I think it's always our kids have done a really good job of staying grounded and, keeping laser focused on what's, the next goal. And, we're not complacent with just winning one state championship and then riding off to the sunset. And since January 1st, it's been the mindset of, hey, we got to even work even harder right now. We're trying to take it to a national level now. And I think the kids have really bought in. We've had our best off season that we've ever had here. Obviously, with the new facility, we're able to do a lot more different things. It's just been a really good off season. The kids have really bought into what we're doing.
How much of, like, again, over the weekend for the ESPN Top 63 Awards, Javian Mallory, your running back, is named the number one overall player in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. It's not a shock, but I think it would come to a shock to a lot of people that you won a state championship last year, and much of that run, including the championship game and the playoffs, was with Mallory sidelined with injury. You're going to be bringing him back. You're bringing back a lot of players from that state title team last year as well. Just you talk about the national level. How confident are you in that you guys are actually even better than how good you were last year, despite being so dominant?
We're very confident. We knew, we know what we bring back. I mean, we only graduated two starters, a good senior class, but not a deep senior class last year. And, just getting kids back like Javian, it's just you don't replace a kid like that. There's no, I mean, to me, he's the best running back in the country, and he's looked the best he's ever looked. And that's saying something because he's looked pretty good at times, throughout his career. So just getting a kid like him back, it just brings a different dynamic to our offense, to our team, just knowing like what you saw last year, when he played against Atlanta and some of these other games are going to be every week this year, and he's just different. And, it's super happy for him, not only is it commitment to Miami, winning the preseason award as, the top player. I mean, I believe he's the best player in Palm Beach County. I think he's the best player in South Florida. And I think he's going to go out this year, including Thursday night, and show he's the best player in the country.
That's what I'm curious of because we're talking about a guy that won best player in the county his sophomore years of starting running back. We missed most of his junior campaign. Is he kind of hungry to have one of these potentially historic senior years? Like he could really ride off to the sunset with some numbers as well as the accolades that can cement him as one of the great running backs in the history of high school football in Florida.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's hungry. I mean, at the end of the day, to get out there and just show everyone he's back. He's back and better. And it's no, there's no, hey, I haven't played in a couple months. I haven't done this. I mean, he's like I said, it's just different when he's out there. Not only just from what he brings, obviously as an athlete and everything like that, but his leadership, his presence out there, just his energy, his personality. I mean, he's a kid that checks every box, and he's going to have a big time year this year. I mean, it's going to be I think he's going to have his best year yet. I mean, if he wanted to, now he's not a stat guy and everything like that, but if he wanted to, he could rush over 2,000 this year. Like I said, he has that type of ability, but we have a really strong backfield, a strong offensive line, and everything like that. We have a lot of weapons everywhere. So Jay's always the first one when we get down in the red zone. He doesn't care if he has to go block, and as Jay Lock gets the touchdown, Anderson, Quentin, whoever scores, Jay's the ultimate team player, and that's why he doesn't care about the stats. But he has the potential to be the best in the country this year.
That's what that's what we can kind of see from the outside looking in, just talent wise, the size and everything. But then you look at the rest of the West Boca Bulls, and you had seven players on that top 63 list. Like you said, many of them have a lot of experience because they played in those big time games for y'all last year. For you as a coach, how much easier does that make it for you to be able to set the tone for them in that nice facility, set the tone on the practice field, and remind them of what that goal is, how it's possible, but then also how they have to work towards getting it?
Well, I think my job as a coach and our jobs as coaches, when you have a lot of talented players, is just letting them play fast and letting them be them. We don't have to overcomplicate things. At the end of the day, they're a super talented group, not only physically, but very their work, mentally they can handle a lot as well too. And it's just a difference now that we've been in the system. The kids have been in the system now 3 and 4 years. So you're just kind of seeing, a kid like Trey Moran is the best I've seen him look, but that's what I would expect as a sophomore, going to be a junior now with, 2 years under his his belt. So you're seeing a lot of these kids, especially in that junior class, take the next step. Where that senior class, I thought took the next step, last year as you're maturing from a sophomore to junior. Now that 27 class, which I was telling you guys on Saturday, I think is just as good as the 26 class, is really take that next step as well too. So it's 2 or 3 years ago we're starting nothing but freshmen and sophomores. Now this year, I think we have one sophomore starting. So it's just a difference of, like I said, having an experienced veteran group versus, kids that are playing on that stage for the first time. So I don't think now, our kids aren't, not that they ever were last year, but, we've been in these big games. We know what to expect. They've been playing against the best. And, so that they know how to handle everything that comes with it. They know how to handle that playoff run. They understand, it's something we talked about in the offseason. It's long when you get in the playoffs, just like an NFL season. It's 18, 19, 20 weeks. It's a long season. So how can you mentally stay locked in that long? And I think having that experience in the playoffs, having that experience of going through these long camp days and things like that, our kids know how to handle it now.
Speaking of experience, you're doing a kickoff classic against a pretty experienced team when it comes to winning state championships, plural, bringing in Chaminade on Thursday. Why them? How excited are you to kind of test your talent, your coaching staff, and your team up against the team that is a national powerhouse in Chaminade?
Well, it's really, we want to prove that we're one of the best teams in the country. And we want to, like I said, prove that Palm Beach is going to hang with any Dade and Broward team at any time. And that's kind of the reason why we wanted to do that matchup, because it doesn't matter. We could have 6 teams in the county win a state championship this year, and they're still going to say, oh, they don't play football up in Palm Beach. It's only Dade and Broward. So, we want to show that we're, the best team in South Florida. And I think that's what we're going to go out there and do on, Thursday night.
For you, I know kickoff classics don't count towards the record, but what else do you look for in those preseason games? Like, are there still some kind of position battles that are up to be decided? Are there young guys you're going to want to give some time so that you can see what they'll look like against some of the top talent as well? Like, what's your strategy in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think each year you're going to approach it a little bit different. I mean, I feel, now we bring back so many starters. There's not that many position battles because some of these kids have been starting those positions for a while. But, I think as you go through camp and just like in the NFL, just like this is a preseason game, you're working on finding your identity. And we know what our identity is. But at the end of the day, it's our identity can be one thing when we're practicing against each other. And then you get out there and see another team and say, okay, hey, maybe we need to work a little bit more on this punt return unit or this, our 12 personnel offense and things like that. So obviously everything is always geared towards getting ready for that December 13th date. And I always tell our kids, keep that in the back of your mind. But right now we're focused on winning on Thursday. That's it. That's for us. Like it's the mindset I tell our kids, don't buy into the, hey, it's just a preseason, this and that. No, we're going out to win. Like we got to make a statement. And we know if we want to be on that national mix that we got to beat the best teams.
It also matters what's going to be on your field as a quarterback. What does that position look like? What's new for the West Boca Bulls there?
Well, Trey Moran will come back and, like I said, threw for over, or not threw, ran for over 2,000 last year, 20 plus touchdowns. Amari McNeil comes in from Elia, Broward County first team, Broward County first team all county quarterback. So those two have done a great job. And like I said, O's a senior, Trey's a junior. So you're going to experience group right now. Trey started a lot of games, O started a lot of games. So those kids, they're both going to play. We'll be running the 2 quarterback system just like, we did last year. And and that's not a slight to both of them that there's no position battle. I just believe that those two are really, really talented, and I'd be doing them a disservice if they didn't get on the field. And they bring different dynamics to the offense, but more importantly, they bring a lot of experience under the belt, which I think is just something as a quarterback you can't supplement. I don't care how talented you are until you get out there and see it. And a kid like who's played against Chaminade last year, and Trey, who's had a big game in the state championship, and so these kids have played a lot of football now.
For you, again, it just is such an interesting way in which y'all play that way, the 2 quarterback system. You don't see it at any level, especially for teams that are competing as at such a high level as y'all. What does that do for the rest of especially the skilled players on offense? How are you able to like practice and make sure that they get reps with both quarterbacks so that the timing, the chemistry, and everything like that works no matter who's in that quarterback?
Well, I think it takes a little bit more coordinating and practice planning. I mean, that's, just making sure that, okay, hey, when we're scripting out practice, okay, hey, this group, he's working with these receivers. This group, he's working with these receivers. They're getting to work it on the left hash, right hash, middle. At quarterback, Trey at quarterback, JV. We do a lot of mix. We try to run it like a college offense and NFL offense with a lot of different personnel groupings. So it just takes a little bit more, planning on our end, but at the end of the day, it's something that we believe in. It's something that works for us, and it might not work for everyone. And I know they said it wasn't going to work last year, and we're gonna go out there and do it again and make it work again this year.
Reigning state champion and Palm Beach County's from top 63 coach of the year in the preseason and for the regular season last year. Dylan Potts joining myself, Theo Dorsey. Y'all ended a 10 plus year state title drought in the area. Good luck on Thursday night. Stay healthy, and we'll be out there for sure watching every snap.